Oh, hi there. I've been meaning to make this video for some time now. I was kind of hoping the Stanley Cup hats, obviously Washington won the Stanley Cup, we're going to go down in price at this point because, it's been a couple of months. I figured there'd be a deal somewhere. My guys downtown, they don't have any. They're not on a deal on the place around here. They want full $40 for, which is essentially, a fancy trucker's hat. And lids, they can't get any of them because they were manufacturing defects. The logos were falling off and they had to destroy much of their product. And I would have been able to get a deal on that. I would have gotten 20% off of $40, which is not ideal for a fancy trucker's hat, but because trucker hats are actually worth a little bit less. But I wanted to delve into kind of the mindset and theories I have about this particular subject. It's clear as day evident that Sidney Crosby never wanted Alexander Ovechkin or the Washington Capitals to ever win a Stanley Cup. He most certainly did not want to, get humiliated by losing to the Washington Capitals and then losing, Marc-Andre Fleury, essentially buds with Sidney Crosby. He didn't want the Washington Capitals to defeat the Vegas Golden Knights, and they did. So it's like Washington beat Pittsburgh twice in one playoff round, because obviously Marc-Andre Fleury, he's best buds with Sidney Crosby and Evgeny Malkin and Chris Letang, and you start to wonder, you go, all those geezers have black hair, right? And you go, well, they're white, right? Well, one of them's a Russian. Sidney Crosby's black Irish. You got Marc-Andre Fleury, who's Quebecois. And, you got you got Chris Letang, which is, kind of a question mark. He looks a bit Asian, if you ask me. I mean, I have a Chris Letang jersey. But anyway, that might explain why there's a faulty design in the Stanley Cup hats. Because big investors, the big push, because that's really what it needs, what all NHL stars need is a big push from companies to back them up to sell their products. And there will never be a Sidney Crosby who is of Asian origin for reals. There'll never be one that comes out of the Communist Party of China or anything like that. It's just not going to happen. The only Asians that have ever played in hockey, and Paul Kariya is the first one that comes to mind for most people, are basically white guys. That's the truth. And even Paul Kariya couldn't get it done. So, and why this is important is a bit of nepotism, actually. It's hard to watch a sport or watch, an athletic contest and not think that you could have been up there and done it yourself. And it's very difficult to do when, you don't look personally like any of the people who are playing. And this Pittsburgh Penguins team, those were their 4 key players, all black hair, would have been more popular in Asia. That's just a fact. Sidney Crosby, he won all his Stanley Cups mostly within Barack Obama's reign, and he was not particularly tough on Asian currency manipulation and all that sort of stuff. The stuff Mitt Romney was going on about. And, it wouldn't surprise me if Sidney Crosby did a little bit of fiddling and, just couldn't stand the idea of Alex Ovechkin winning the Stanley Cup. he did some fiddling so that the Washington Capitals got an inferior cap. As far as, the hat quality not being there and all that. And it just shows how greedy Sidney Crosby is. He won 3 Stanley Cups, he's got countless awards, and still he wanted Alexander Ovechkin to have nothing other than, a few trophies and get, essentially put in the dustbin of history. And I think I may have said that about poor Alex Ovechkin before, and I'm glad things worked out for him. I'm really happy he won a Stanley Cup because he deserved to win one. And I think Sidney Crosby, and it is well known within the NHL community that he's a big crybaby. That's just how it is. And this is not how Sidney Crosby wanted to, have his career. This is a defining moment in his career, having lost the Stanley Cup, not become the dynasty theoretically by winning 3 Stanley Cups in a row, even though in this day and age you can basically say they were a dynasty. Most of the players stayed, yada yada yada. And for the nail in the coffin to be Alexander Ovechkin, that must have offended Crosby so badly. In fact, he's probably throwing the giant tantrums, and he's actually an athletic guy. He could probably get really angry if he wants to. And it's just like, fuck you, Sidney Crosby. Fuck you. I know when people get to that height, that echelon of any organization or sport or whatever, they don't want to lose to anybody, and it does look like pure greed. But Sidney Crosby has to just take it the way it is. It's not the storybook ending that he wanted in his in the chapter of NHL history that he thought he was going to get. Because I don't think the Pittsburgh Penguins are ever going to win another Stanley Cup with Sidney Crosby on the team. I just don't. I could see them, not faring particularly bad, but, just never becoming the elite team that they were and winning a Stanley Cup. I'm not saying that, Chicago is any different, but they might be similar in that regard. And, for me personally, like, whenever I heard hockey, anyone who's heard hockey in Canada, it's all been Sidney Crosby, Sidney Crosby, Sidney Crosby. And it's like, hold the phone. I don't actually like Sidney Crosby. I don't like how everyone was, patting him on the back and, basically getting on all fours and, bowing before Sidney Crosby as he walks by, worshipping the fucking shadow that used to be there as he walks by, and it's just like, fuck off. So yeah, I do think that Sidney Crosby would be such a poor sport that he would do anything he could to try and take Alex Ovechkin's thunder away. And, at this point it doesn't matter. Alex Ovechkin, dream come true for him. He got exactly, what he earned. And, I did throw that out there as a bit of an extraterrestrial thought, saying, look, a lot of the notable players on the Pittsburgh Penguins have black hair, the nepotism, and how, in Asia they may be a more well-received team over there as opposed to one with Alex Ovechkin. Because as I said, if you can't really look at a team and go, well, any of those guys, they could sort of, I could have sort of, if I'd gone, down the athletic path, I could have, been there. And, that's kind of why I don't watch football, American football. I don't watch the basketball. I don't look at them and go, yeah, that could be me, because I wouldn't want to do those sports. You gotta give them credit, they're doing their thing, but I will never like basketball or American football. And European football, it can be interesting when there's goals being scored, but when there's not, it's very boring. But hockey actually is the best sport out of all of them, because there's shifts. things can happen. 5 goals can be scored in 3 minutes and change the whole outcome of a game. Whereas in basketball, like, a goal doesn't really count for anything. It's like, you're not going to get up out of your seat when, the basketball goes through the hoop. It's like, there's 100 points and, 3 points there, 2 points there, or whatever the rules are. And it's like, if the goals come that easily, then there's no uniqueness to it. And, when you have to wait too long for a goal, like European football, it gets boring too. I mean, it's enthralling when, a football team, a European football team, just absolutely pummels another team. And I reminiscent about Germany versus Brazil. 7-1. That was an amazing game. If they were all like that, then that would be different. Yeah, so hockey, things are going on, and that way it's interesting, and the goals actually count for something, and it's it's just something more. Anyway, so to sum it up, basically I think Sidney Crosby being a crybaby, as all these hats are made in Asia. I think the Adidas ones are made in Indonesia still. I think so, or somewhere around there. I think there would have been nepotism, and Sidney Crosby, would have had better business dealings, and that's why, he tried to do anything he could against Alexander Ovechkin, and, messing up with the shipments of supplies of Stanley Cup hats is the best he could do from what I understand, which is rather pathetic and petty. Okay, well, this is basically to sum up the video. Oh yeah, right, Carlson, he got traded to the Sharks. Yeah, I ain't giving no damn about that story. Anyway, talk to you guys later. Have a good one.